I'm going to let this soak in for a moment. You have to let your body eat itself in order to lose belly fat. Not just 10 pounds, 20 pounds, but you have to let it do it. So hit the like button, subscribe today. Jim here again. And listen, I run into this quite often. I mean, daily, weekly, monthly, sometimes more often than I continue to talk about. And I want to make a video stating specifically that you have to be in a caloric deficit for your bodies, what your body needs. You have to let it eat itself. And you have to be in a deficit for it to eat the belly fat that's there, the back fat that's there. It will do that. Your body is designed to do that. You will not outcrunch it. You just won't. If you are eating more calories than your body is willing to expend in a day, you can't outrun it. You can't outlift it. You just can't. I don't care what age you are. And especially as you get older, 30s, 40s, 50s, beyond, I keep saying this, a caloric deficit will be the only diet. Well, if it's a diet, it's just science. It is a given. And what I mean by, deficit, you want to be in a healthy one. I'm not talking about eating 500 to 1,000 calories a day for days on end. I'm talking about actually 500 to 700 calories less per day than your body's willing to utilize. Okay. For me, for instance, I am at 2,250 calories a day. Protein is first, 170 to 200 grams a day. Fats are second. Carbohydrates for whatever I'm doing for the day. And here is what I want to move forward on with this. There are 6 things that are overeaten in the wrong way all the time. 3 are just, there's no way you're eating a serving of them. And then the other 3 can be part of a healthy diet when you are in a caloric deficit for fat loss. Excuse me. Number 1, cookies. Number 2, chips. Number 3, ice cream. All 3 of those are those items we go to any grocery store at any given moment. They're prepackaged. We know they're easy to get. They have whole aisles dedicated to them in some cases, especially chips and cookies. I mean, half the freezer section in most places, even in your healthy food stores, I'm saying using quotes because it's like that whole section there's a whole section dedicated just to ice cream, right? And some of them are longer than others, but they're prepackaged. They're easy to make, high in sugar, cheap to bake, right? And high in fat. The other, dairy fat's very, it doesn't matter what fat it is these days, but whether it's almonds, cashew, or coconut fat they make ice cream with. But those 3 are the hardest to eat, in serving sizes. No one eats just a quarter of a cup of ice cream. No one goes out there and does that. I mean, you can. I never known anybody to buy a pint of ice cream from, the reputable places that are very high in calories. Some of them are 1,100 to 1,500 calories, some even higher I've seen, but 1,500 calories is normally the threshold, is where I've never seen a pint last in any client that I've ever had their refrigerator more than a day or 2. Just doesn't happen. Most of those pints that are bought, they're eaten that day. They're not saved for weeks on end, and they're taking a serving out and weighing it. It's just not happening. Chips the same way. You look at 200 grams of chips in a bag, not happening. Pringles came out. That sleeve was like the best thing that ever happened to chips, right? So, and then you got your cookies. They're all easily obtained. I don't care whether it's, the name brand cookies or it is one of those cookies that are, they're healthy. No, they're still high in fats. They're still high in sugar. They're processed, of course, but I mean, I'm not saying that never not to ever eat these, but when you are in a process of losing body fat and you want to restore your metabolism and actually activate fat loss and optimize that fat loss, over time and lose it and then incorporate some of these things as time goes on, yeah, it's a great idea to do that. But long term, and I'm going to get into those are the first three. These second three are rice, pasta, and nuts. Okay, nuts. And I could go another level here where potatoes, but I'm going to stick to these three because rice is so easy to overeat. Pasta is so easy to overeat. No one eats just 200 calories of pasta or 200 calories of rice. I think 200 calories of rice is not even a quarter of a cup. It's about half a cup of cooked rice. It's so small. There's no volume of food there, right? And but these three I categorize because there are times for these. Really are. I can incorporate them into my diet, especially when I'm gaining muscle, for more energy and whatever I'm doing to hit gaps in calories when I need to go up to 2,700 or 3,000 calories. Eating rice at the right times, eating pasta at the right times. I use nuts. I incorporate nuts in my diet and some diets. But no one really eats a serving of nuts. Not everyone doesn't do that, but no one eats just 15 almonds. No one just eats 200 calories of trail mix, right? With nuts in that in it. No, it's trivial. It's a small amount. You can, but these are the 6 foods that I see as a nutrition coach being not only abused, but not structured in a caloric deficit day 1 to day 30 to day 60 to day 90 to day 120 and moving forward and incorporating them back as time goes on. As you're losing, let's say you got to lose 20 pounds of body fat. That could take some people a very long time. It could take some people a very short amount of time. It all depends on how you structure your diet, on how you structure your plan, and how you move through each phase of what you need to do, right, in order to get there. And I always say that the 2 biggest things that you're going to do is figuring out what your macros are based on your caloric need for the day, be in a caloric deficit with those macros, making sure those macros are the best you can get for yourself. And then those other things that you need to do, and one more thing, is plan those meals eventually. At some point, you got to plan your meals and use a scale in order to know what things look like when you weigh them out or when you're not weighing them out. You don't have to carry a scale around you for the rest of your life. But knowing what what 40 grams of protein looks like at chicken or beef or tofu or beans, whatever that is, knowing what that looks like, knowing what 2 servings looks like, knowing what 3 servings looks like, you get to know that once you plan your meals out and you start using a scale to actually prep those meals. Okay, so that being said, watch this a couple of times, but you cannot and never will outdo a caloric deficit. You need your body to eat itself in order for it to lose that, eat the body fat that is stored, eat that energy that's stored, and you have to start somewhere. So if you want to start somewhere, you could start that with me. I got some slots open. I have 7 slots open. Okay, so hit me up with open, OPEN today. And for nutrition coaching, it's a 4-phase program. It's great. It's not high ticket. Don't be freaked out by that, okay? But it is high impact. It's a lot of one-on-one, especially during the first 3 weeks going into the 90 days, and it is guaranteed for an entire year, okay? I stick with you whether you got to lose 10 pounds, whether you got to lose 50 pounds of body fat. So hit me up. I'll talk to you soon. Later.